past, present, and future. So beyond space, creation and destruction happen simultaneously. So in the dimension of time start the past, present, and the future. But in our Akashic readings, there is no past, present, and future. Enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. The Supreme Pontiff is the 1008th incarnation of Paramashiva, as per Hinduism, recognized by his predecessors who are enlightened masters and adepts, and he has made Kanchi Kailasa Sagadnipitam the incumbent emperor of the Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajyam, the present 293rd Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam of Kaila 3rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Dharma Mukti Swargapuram Adinam, and he is elected as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by a congregation of over 1,000 Hindu leaders. And over 20 million copies of books and articles which are sold, read, and downloaded. And he has delivered over 10,000 hours of discourses, Gita, and the Jain Sutras. And he is honored as the leader of Hinduism, the most awarded, internationally recognized Hindu leader, the reviver of 108 ancient Hindus. He is the establisher of 1,000 plus Kailasa enlightenment ecosystems, the founder and reviver of over 100 Sarvajnapitas, collector of the largest Hindu library with over 1 million books. Are Nithyananda Yogis and Balasans of the Nithyananda order joining with us now after a short break.
So let us witness the extraordinary demonstration of the Shaktis of Paramashiva, the powers of Paramashiva. But before that, let us learn about what are Shaktis. So today you will be witnessing the following powers of third eye, where one awakens the ability to scan and see any body problems which one has, and can even reveal the root problems and the solutions for those body problems. But before you witness this extraordinary demonstration, let us learn what are Shaktis. In the Vedagamas, the source scriptures of Hinduism, Paramashiva reveals in elaborate detail that reach the divine. So there are two types of manifesting powers, Shaktis and Siddhis. Shaktis manifest from the fundamental cognition that you are the divine, and that manifests from tapas or penance for enlightenment. They are on the path of enlightenment. Shaktis express through ordinary beings in extraordinary ways. How do we manifest all these Shaktis? How do we get initiated into manifesting these Shaktis? Paramashiva is the primordial divinity, the ultimate reality and cause, which is self-effulgent, Swayam Prakasha, all-pervading, unchanging beyond time, space, formation, pulling out of delusion and liberation. And Paramashiva has incarnated and landed down in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, his divine at a very young age, by the enlightened gurus, by the Guru Parampara. So there are so many gurus, Annamali Swamigal, Isitki Swamigal, Mata Bibhadanandapuri, Raghupati Yogi, Pundi Mahan, so many of these enlightened gurus who recognize Swamiji as an avatar at a very Mantra Shastra, Siddha Vidya, the science of Aushadha, Advaita, Bhakti Yoga, Paramashiva Jnana, and Paramashiva Vijnana. So how do we awaken these divine Shaktis in us? How do we manifest these extraordinary stations?
Enlightened being through look, word, or touch. The traditional Vedic book Navaratneshwara states, Sarva Samapi Dikshanam Muktihi Phalamakhanditam. Well-being happen. And in Rudrayamala Tantra, Shiva says, Devi Diksha Vihi. All efforts, one should get initiated by Guru. What is the science of initiation? Neuroscience has proved that the process of initiation floods the brain with energy. This is a loop within the brain, which awakens the latent non-mechanical parts which we have never used before. With increasing levels of coherence, the whole visualization, creativity, It also slows the aging process and improves the immune system. Kundalini Awakening Dhyanapitham.
Yes. So let us see how this science in the source scriptures by Paramashiva. Next is the Apta Pramana, the experiences and results of Aptas or the authorities of Hinduism who time tested and verified this science. Next is the Atma Pramana and scientific experimentation. So where do we get all these Shastra Pramanas from? Where do we get all these source scriptures from? For Hindus. Agamas are the scriptures where the applied technology, the applied science is expanded. Vedas and Agamas, Vedagamas, are given the status of Shruti as they are one awakens the ability to read with a blindfold. So let us see the Shastra Pramana with the power of third eye, which comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 34. Fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and sitting stably without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession by that stability of the mind and Bhagavan Krishna. When Bhagavan Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye. In the Hindu Purana Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye to behold his Vishwarupa Darshan, the vision of his cosmic form. And the Dadami te chakshuhu pasya me yogamaishwaram. Bhagavan Krishna says to Arjuna, but you cannot see my cosmic form with these physical eyes of yours. Therefore I grant you the divine third. Not only I was able to see, I was able to feel and experience all of them as well. Next is the Sakshi Pramana in the brain, where the third eye is located. And when in the deep state of Samadhi, only the third eye region is active and almost 90% of the rest of the brain is at peace. So this is day-to-day lifestyle. So along with me, I have Manitya Kaladharananda, who is 15 years old and a Balasant of the Nithyananda Gurukul. She is going to be manifesting the power of third eye in front of all of you today. Actually tested eye band. You can see in front is a complete opaque sheet and behind is a thick sponge. You can see that there's a strap to comfortably strap the eye band to Ma Kaladhara's head. So you can see that this eye band has no gaps, no holes from between the sponge and the opaque sheet. So this is the eye band. We'll be placing this eye band on Ma Kaladhara's eyes. You can see that everything is completely the same. I'm not going to be making any changes to the eye band. I'll just directly place it on her eyes. So you can see it's completely covered and down. Yes. So now Ma Kaladhara is going to be manifesting the power of third eye for all of you. So I request the YouTube comments to be projected. And all of you can go ahead and post any comments you want on the live Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. And Ma Kaladhara is going to be reading it live. So I request all of you to go ahead and continue posting. Ma Kaladhara's head, it's only her and her eye band.
There is a comment from 7S. Suhila Survey SUN Santu AANNI. Shanti.
Yes, so that was amazing. Post it in the Kailasa's SPH Nithyananda page. So that was amazing. I request all of you to continue posting. You can post anything you want. Adra will be reading it out. Okay. And so we also have something interesting today. So So you can see I have pages in the second book and around 50 pages. So this is book 1, this is book 2, and this is book 3. Any one of the viewers can post which book they want Ma Kaladhara to read and which page number out of these 3 books they want Ma Kaladhara. Yes. Now all the viewers can choose which 3 books out of these 3 they want. Okay.
Manitya Paramapriyananda has posted page 30.
Okay. So I request you to post which book you want page 30 to be read. Okay. So I'll be giving a random book. So I'll be choosing any random book out of these 3 which Ma Kaladhara has chosen.
Yes. 7 Searchful has posted Tales of Vishnu. VALBU.
So you can see how this is accurate, page 30. Yes, Ma Kaladhara, you can go ahead and start reading. Or you can actually describe the pictures on page 30.
Yes. So here and there is a person standing here speaking to the girl, and he is wearing a purple colored dress with and here the girl's shawl is flying and the guy is lying down. The guy is lying down. The guy who is wearing a purple dress.
Okay, is running and the man in the purple dress is running. So is lying down. So Ma Kaladhara has beautifully described. She even described that there's a green curtain here. So you can. Yes, and I encourage all of you to continue posting more page numbers. You can post. We have 3 books. Yes, Ma Kaladhara, why don't you go ahead and read the next comment?
Expressions of me, I am Ma Jalandhar Nithyananda has posted exclamation mark, and she has posted so proud of you with the 2 dots and a closed bracket, and expression of me, I am Ma Jalandhar Nithyananda has also posted page number 44. Yes,
Okay,
now I'll be reading the page number 44.
Book. So even in this, you can choose any book which you want Ma Kaladhara to reach page 44.
Expressions of me, I am Ma Jalandhar Nithyananda has posted the one with the red border.
So Ma Kaladhara, you can go ahead and choose which book. Yes. So she has correctly chosen the one with the red border. Yes, Ma Kaladhara, open page 44. Go ahead and choose another number, Ma, as the one with the red border has only 30 pages. Okay, so okay. Ma Kaladhara, why don't you go ahead and read?
Yes. Expressions of.
Yes. So Ma Kaladhara has chosen correctly. Page number 22.
There are two males, and the first person has a grayish gray but little purple hair, and he has a feather on his turban. He's wearing a dark light pink, and the person next to him is wearing a light green turban with a light green shawl and wearing a dark green. And four bolsters which is there next to them, and the sofa which they're sitting on is yellow with green with black color lines.
A person is wearing a purplish pink kind of dress with a coat on top, and how the second person is wearing a dark green shirt. How many cushions are there, how many pillows are there, and how they are sitting, in which way they are sitting. She was able to see to so many details, how so accurately she was able to read and see through her third eye. It is the whole time, and she was able to see with her eyes closed. So that is a very amazing demonstration of the power of third eye. Next, we will be manifesting the power of body scanning. So you'll be witnessing the Balasins and the Nithyananda yogis doing a body scanning. So we'll be chanting the Shastra Pramanas now, and we'll be joining with you after a short break. Till then, you after a short break. The unique thing about body scanning is that the third eye reveals the root cause of the problem. Why the problem even started in your body in the first place. The third eye is the root cause of the problem. So let us now chant the Shastra Pramana for this power of body scanning. Swadehe jagato vapi sukshma sukshmatarani cha tattvani of the whole universe simultaneously consist of the essential reality. They are being absorbed in their source cause, Paramashiva, and by the experience of such restful awareness, one becomes complete from all the thoughts and Thereya. Thereya was one of the prominent disciples of Agastya, and one day a man suffering from a severe headache came to Agastya for healing, and Agastya did the body scanning and revealed that there is a small type of Therai, a frog, sitting in his lap. Next is the Atma Pramana, the experience of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Swamiji, this millennium's avatar's person, therefore, for medical checkups related to that. And at that time, they detected heavy metal quantity in different organs of mine, and it was revealed that I had been poisoned without our knowledge. I immediately used diagnostic methods instead of medical facilities to study the body condition. Due to last is the Sakshi Pramana, the experiences and results of the extraordinary manifestations being manifested through the different disciples of Swamiji who have been initiated. So, and you'll be thinking, wow, even the participants are able to manifest, even you yourself can manifest. Just join the Paramashivoham level 2 program and you can also manifest. But now, you can manifest all the 463 powers, not only the power of body scanning or thirds. Call your friends, show them that they can manifest this power just with one initiation, and tell them that now they can get a body scanning, and immediately after the Devi Parashakti Akashic readings, yes. So now I request the YouTube comments to be projected, and all of you please continue posting your requests and comments for the power of body scanning, and the Balasins are eagerly waiting to manifest this extra. Okay. So, expressions of me, I am has posted. Mahajalandharastita. Okay, so Ahmed Aya has posted, please scan my body and what color is my shirt. Okay, so I will be doing the scanning for what color is your shirt, and Sony, you can do the scanning for Ahmed Aya's body. So we'll three be chanting the Mahavakya together. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. One part of the dress you're wearing, I don't know if it's the shirt or pant, but one part is like a light orangish peach color. This is the
Sister Mayuri, the solution for her diabetes is every day after she gets up, the first thing she should, before eating anything or before even drinking water, immediately after she gets up, she has to have 1 tablespoon of neem leaves and turmeric. She has to make a paste with the heal.
Oh, wow, a very unique solution for your sister, Ma. Paramashiva has revealed a neem and turmeric paste she has to eat every morning. So, okay, first thing, Ma, Swamiji has actually advised anyone outside of India not to come in India right now as the COVID is spreading and it is really bad. But you can also ask this question to Devi Parashakti when she comes live, and Devi Parashakti will go really fast around the world and yes, and is taking many lives.
Nithyananda Mahamadaya. Here Paramashiva reveals that you need lots of cleansing in your body. So to cleanse your body, have neem juice.
Nithyananda and Ahmed Aya, I request you to get back in the chat and verify and confirm whether the scanning is correct or not. Mahajalandhar Sthita has posted, okay, thank you, Ma. Okay. Ahmed Aya, I request you to get back, and I request all of you to continue posting your comments in the Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel. My sister, yes, neem and turmeric first thing in the morning. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for getting. Yes. So, Ma Soni, Ma Brahmayaga, why don't you go ahead and share? How are you able to manifest this power? When was the first time you manifested?
Okay, so I would like to share my experience of how I felt when I manifested body scanning for the first time. So I was doing a demo on live for someone. So I was really nervous, and then, but even though I was nervous, I still did the body scanning, and I asked Swamiji, what should I tell him? What is the problem he has? And then Paramashiva Swamiji showed that he doesn't have it, and it's wrong. If he has it, then it's correct. So like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I should say it or so. And then I was just sitting there for a few minutes, not knowing what to do. But then after that, I decided, okay, whatever. Swamiji was so shocked. He didn't have any words to say. He couldn't say anything, and he was just looking at me. And he couldn't say anything. He didn't, and I just stayed because I know it will be correct. Because after all, Swamiji has revealed it, and Paramashiva has revealed it.
So beautiful. Just with that simple trust on Swamiji, you're able to reveal and completely confidently say, this is the problem you have. I did the house scanning for him, and I revealed that he is on the 3rd floor. And he was like, no, I'm not on the 3rd floor. I'm on the 4th floor. And then immediately, one of the Balasins immediately asked, Aya, are you living on the third floor? You have a guitar. It's next to your sofa on the corner of the wall, in front of one. It's kind of like a closet kind of thing. In front of that, it's standing. It's like around. It's like, I think it's pretty big, and it's in a shock. How he was able to relate. How he was so shocked that I was able to manifest and see through my third eye, and was able to scan and tell that there's a guitar in his house, and it is in everything which Paramashiva reveals is accurate. So this is the beautiful experience we've had with the powers of remote vision, body scanning, and much more. So now it's time to conclude this power manifestation session. We thank all of you for joining us in this beautiful power manifestation.
Nithyananda. That was an absolutely exquisite, extraordinary demonstration. And as Ma Nithya Yoga Prananda, who had been just explaining, just through the initiation, this beautiful process begins, and we are seeing literally the powers of Paramashiva and having the higher possibility of themselves awaken to them. And that ultimately is the purpose of the Guru in our lives, the purpose of which the avatar happened on planet Earth. And in this day and age, we'll be understanding who is Devi Parashakti. Let us be introduced, for many of us for the first time, to who is Devi Parashakti, who is this divine cosmic being. How do we connect with her? And how do we ensure that we can, very beginning, from the way that she is described in the Shastras, the Lalita Sahasranama is in fact, it has all of the 1008 qualities of Devi Parashakti listed. Such beautiful significance behind each one, and each one being an ultimate power. We'll be understanding Devi Parashakti in a very subtle, very sacred way, and which is, of course, apt as today we are feminine consciousness, and she is the embodiment of the cosmic mother. She is the source of where all the billions and billions of universes go in and come out. Mother, and she has the ability to literally take away all our fears, our worries, everything at one shot. The Dhyana shlokas and meditate on Devi and invoke her presence among us.
Yes, we'll now chant the Dhyana sloka from Lalita Sahasranama. Sinduraruna vigraham trinayanam nagatastha rakta charanam dhyayet paramambikam.
Now I'll just be briefly chanting the English translation as well. The Divine Mother is to be meditated upon as shining in vermilion red lotus.
The next Dhyana sloka is Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim Dritapashankusha Pushpabana Chapam Animadi Viravritam Ayukairahamityeva Vibhavaye.
Her hands, she is surrounded on all sides by powers such as Anima Pares, and she is the self within me.
So Devi, the ultimate pure feminine consciousness, Parashakti, is the cosmic mother. It is her cosmic womb from which billions of universes comes out and goes in.
And out of her extreme love and compassion, Parashakti herself is manifesting through the embodied form as Nija Avatara of the pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasanidanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam itself.
So, in the words of Parashakti herself, it says, raising as Omkara, expressing as Vedas and Agamas, blossomed as Krimkara, filled as Parashodasi, living in 40 triangles, the Kailasa Swamini, who is in Kailasa show all goodness, Hiranya Garbha Swarupini, Brahmanda Yoni, Shami, Chandramauli, Rapala, Aparna, Uma Parvati, Savitri, Navayavana, Samraja Lakshmi, Parameshwari, Parashodasi, Meenakshi.
Raising in Omkara, blossoming as Shiva, and Shiva manifesting as the source of existence, powers of existence, expression of existence, and from the oneness of Om, blossoming into two as Prakriti and Purusha, blossoming as three Shaktis, Icha, Kriya, Jnana, Shakti, and growing as the four Vedas, expanding as 5 Panchabhutas. Beyond Meenakshi is the form of Nithyananda. I came to bless every one of you.
So literally, you are seeing Paramashiva and Parashakti, right? When you're having the darshan in the screen. So how to receive her? Dakshina. So it can be of any lowest value. It can be even 1 paise or even 1 cent.
Now you can offer that to how much it adds to your sentiment that really Devi Parashakti is there. And ultimately, you'll not take the Devi darshan for granted. Rituals will break your monotonous, nut, the banana and the coin. So, and it's all arranged in a plate here, as you can see. The coconut and the red bangles, as well as the red vestram, is also optional. But this beetle leaf, now that we have been introduced to Devi Parashakti, how can we ask her questions and interact and start interacting personally with Devi Parashakti, ask her our questions. See how you can ask your questions through YouTube. So on YouTube, you should first ensure that you are a member of Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel, and this will give you access an array of more than 7,000 YouTube videos. Enter into the chat any of your questions or your prayers on the right-hand side. So make sure that you're able to do those steps on YouTube.
Yes. So the next official social media platform through which you can connect with Parashakti and
many of you are frequent users of Twitter, so you can also ensure that you are following the Twitter handle of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism at Sri Nithyananda on Twitter, and questions and receive the blessings of Devi Parashakti.
The next social media platform is the Instagram account. So Sri Nithyananda is the official Instagram account, and you can follow that in the Instagram and ask your questions in the comment section.
The WhatsApp widget, and also you can use the live chat widget. So these two are other options that you can use through kailasa.org. Now we have another option that you can, one of us as individuals, as people who are, some of us most desperately, most yearning the divine presence of Devi Parashakti in our lives. We're yearning for someone to take care as humanity as a whole, has given us supreme knowledge, wisdom, and guidance in order to take actions reading, where she has guided us through this day and age, through the COVID-19 pandemic, where she has literally been able to handhold us through these extremely dark and tense times, just as a mother would carry her child through any guidance that Devi Parashakti has given. The pure guidance and for the whole of so many different ways Devi Parashakti has given us supreme knowledge and wisdom. So now we will now be entering into the next segment of today's program. Humanity is still undergoing the after effects of the cosmic deluge and thousands of deaths due to the global pandemic and emerging fungal epidemic, along with the recent numbers.
So why did this happen? So what has caused this? Who is behind this, and how could we have avoided this? So what is the solution for this? So in this segment of this program, we would go through a scientific and statistical understanding of Parashakti's revelation on the cause and solution of the Pralaya. So we could see the number of increasing COVID cases, especially in India, more than and the number of COVID deaths, which is more than 37,000, and number fallen into poverty.
You can see that India is the 6th most depressed country. 6.5% of the population suffering some form of mental illness, especially now with the pandemic going on. An alarming age, because it is the youth that is being directly affected.
We have prevented this. So we will now listen to Parashakti's revelation on the 31st of May of what Parashakti has revealed.
சொல்வதை புரிந்துகொள். இந்த பெருநரகமான கிருமி போஜனம் இந்தியாவிற்குள் வரக்கூடாது என்பதற்காக 2020 பாரதம் முழுவதும் 12 ஜோதிர்லிங்கமும் பாதயாத்திரை முறையாக கைலாய நாட்டின் தலைவனாக நிறை மரியாதை அதுவரை உனை காத்து செல்லாதே. Om.
In her own words in English, she says, for this huge Kirimi Bojanam hell not to come to India in 2020 itself, I had planned to do Padayatra throughout India and 12 Jyotirlingas through my son, Swamiji.
want to do 1 year Padayatra specially for this, to spend time with people. 2020 there will not be any program other than Padayatra and just spending time with people. Just walking and time with nature. 10,000 people manifesting powers. Walking from village to village. What do you think will happen? Power manifesting 10,000 people. The whole village will be manifesting powers. Just want to enjoy India and let India enjoy me. So planning for next thing like a 40 to 50 feet tall stone tower and 5 Rajagopurams, which will be something like 120 feet. This will be the Balalayam. And after the Mulalayam is built, this Balalayam will serve as a Utsavamurti Sannidhi. Their worship is allowed in the main temple. Because 12 Abhishekam is going to happen. 12 Kala Abhishekams. So continuously the rituals will be going on. People can have only that will be done to the Utsavamurti, which will be kept in the Balalayam, the present Balalayam, present structure. So people can spend time here, 1 full year, Padayatra, walking. From next year, Jayanti, means 2019's Jayanti to 2020's Jayanti. Full year, Jayanti to Jayanti will be Padayatra. I think that is the only way the revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma can be done. I need to get into the ground where people can see me. For that only I am sitting and working. So I have given 2 years for me now, 2018 and 2019. The path route we are taking, physical healing or mental healing, or it's a too big visualization. How will you visualize? What will happen if 10,000 power man detailed way is carved? It is there. Which scanning machine was there in those days other than the third eye? Very detailed carvings are there. Even Srirangam temple, the whole carving is there. Srirangam temple gives a week by week the whole. We have already collected some chunk of 80-90 to be displayed in this Balalayam. Work is going on all of that. We are also going to tell you the science of temple building story. India moved. One is agriculture community, another one is business community. These two community only traveled.
Yes. So since the age of 10, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been preparing for the Padayatra to save the humanity. On the title, Anandam Selvathai Irikum.
And he continued to conduct so many programs, enriching many people, giving darshan, initiation, and taking the science of enlightenment to the world.
In Tamil Nadu, he is conducting another satsang in the title, Ain Guru. What is the need for the Guru?
And more programs conducted on the 21st of November 2005.
And you can see the birth star celebration of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism happening in Tiruvannamalai in 2005. Huge crowds of people actually swarming around him, waiting for his darshan and healing.
And on the 1st of and in Adi Kailasha Satpatipita on Guru Purnima Day.
And this is the Shakti Spurana program picture, the Dhyana Spurana program, which the Supreme Pontiff himself conducted in the Sapta Yagam in July 2006 in Salem in Tamil Nadu. So you can see the various pictures where devotees are actually participating in the Homa, and the Supreme Pontiff himself is conducting the Sapta Yagam, the Homa.
In 2006.
Yes. So the Nithyananda Spurana program was being conducted in Salem in Tamil Nadu, explaining to them and giving them the glimpse of the signs of enlightenment through initiation. But however, the anti-Hindu elements have really made it impossible to do the re-energizing process by
வேண்டாமா என்று கேட்கின்றாய் நன்றாய் தெரிந்து கொள் சொல்வதை புரிந்துகொள். இந்த பெருநரகமான கிருமி போஜனம் அவிகள் ஓடத்தின் மாலுமியை ஊர்விட்டு துரத்தினார்கள். என்ன நடக்கிறதென்று பார். முறையாக கையிலாய நாட்டின் தலைவனாக நிறை மறியது வரை உனை காத்து செல்லாதே. ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
The ground in India, and the Padayatra that was planned for years is actually conducted, and the re-energizing process of the 12 Jyotirlingas is allowed to happen. Kali Yuga would be forewarned us what to expect in this Kali Yuga.
So yes, so we can see Kali Yuga is the worst of all the 4 yugas, where man will be his own worst enemy. So in the Kurma Purana, sage Vyasa, he says, Jantuna Muktva Varanasim Purim Sarva Papa Prasamanam Prayaschittam Kalau Yuge.
And the translation goes, this Kali Yuga is the worst of the 4 yugas.
Yes, the Kurma Purana again states, Brahma Krita Yuge Devastrethayam Bhagavan Ravihi Dwapare Dhaivatam Vishnuhu Kalau Rudro Maheshwaraha. Brahma is the presiding divinity or lord for Krita Yuga. The Treta Yuga, it is Bhagavan.
2nd of January 1978, out of his deepest compassion to protect humanity, Paramashiva himself descended into the human form in the Nijavatara of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidan, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam.
And I tell you, O Hindus, don't be afraid. I am back with the same signs. We are going to be rich. Directly.
So the Avatar's advent on the planet Earth was to protect humanity from this great pralaya.
கலி முற்றி கலி கழிந்து புதுயுகம் சத்தியயுகம் புறப்பட வேண்டிய காலம் வந்ததனால் வந்திருக்கின்றது இந்த பெரும் பிரளயம். நித்யானந்தன் வடிவம் தாங்கி நாமே இங்கு வந்திருக்கின்றோம். நித்யயுகம் செய்வோம், நித்யயுகம் சத்யயுகமாய் மலரும் இங்கு.
So Devi revelations translated into English reveal that people of the world listen. Kali Yuga has matured, and over time has come for Satya Yuga to happen. So this great pralaya has come. Don't worry, people. In the form of Nithyananda, I myself have come here. I will make Nitya Yuga. Nitya Yuga will blossom as Satya Yuga. I've been preparing for this Padayatra since the age of 10.
So the Supreme Pontiff began enriching people with all these truths from sacred scriptures of enlightened living. You can see in these various pictures. And when Supreme Pontiff was around 19 years of age, you can see the Ramakrishna Mutt, where he could recall the yatra from Chennai, Tamil Nadu to Tiruvannamalai, and his unforgettable pilgrimage trip.
To revive Kailasa internationally on the 31st of December 1929.
And after that, the Supreme Pontiff established the first Kailasa enlightenment ecosystem in Tiruchengodu in Tamil Nadu. And with his intensity and dedication, crowds of thousands of people were gathered around him, and they simply resonated deeply with his presence and his. So subsequently, the Avatar personally organized and led yatras yearly and guided individual souls not just to physical spiritual sites, but supernal spiritual realms.
And in 2006, the Padayatras were taken to the next level with the Kodigan Padayatra, with crores participating.
And Swayambhu Nithyanandeshwara in Adi Kailasa Sarvajñapita. So the deities were energized as Archavataras to radiate the energy of Paramashiva and Parashakti to create the Adi Kailasa Sarvajñapitam as a ship to save humanity from the upcoming
energy centers in India to create a safe haven for this great pralaya.
So in 2008, the Avatar created the Nithyananda Vaidya Sarovar, the Ananda Linga. So anyone who bathes in the waters would be actually healed from all kinds of diseases.
नम आशवे च जिराय च नम शीघ्रियाय च शीघ्राय च नम ऊर्म्याय च वस्वन्याय च नम स्रोतस्याय च दीप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठे च नम आशुषेणाय च आशुरथाय च नम शूराय च वभिन्दते च नमो वर्मिणे च वरुथिने च नमो बिल्मिने च कवचिने च नम श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय च हनन्याय च नमो धृष्णवे च प्रवृषेभ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नम ईर्भ्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च ओम नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमः ताम्राय च अरुणाय च नमः शंगाय च वशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वशालाद्याय च नमः षष्ट्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रवाह्याय च नमः ईरण्याय च प्रपत्याय च नमः किगंशिलाय च क्षेणाय च नमः कपर्दिने च पुलस्तये च नमो गोष्ट्याय च गृह्
सद्गुरु नित्य सद्गुरु नित्यने नित्य सद्गुरु नित्य सद्गुरु नित्य सद्गुरु नित्यने निन्मुகம் நீனைந்து இங்கு நிர்மலமே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே மறைகள் எல்லாம் கழன்று விசுத்தி அதுவும் அசுத்தியாய் பொறாமையோடிங்கு ஏக்கத்தோட பதம் பிரிந்து இங்கு வரவேணுமே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய
And wherever the avatar's feet have graced the planet Earth, there the seeds have been of super consciousness have been sown. Kailasa and Erode, which was the Adi Nithyananda Paramashivam.
The Adi Kailasa Sarvajñapitam, and you can see Kailasa in Thiruvannamalai.
Using Texas.
Kailasa in Oklahoma City.
Kailasa in Phoenix, Arizona. Scotland.
Kailasa in Scotland. Kailasa in Netherlands. The various ecosystems established across the world, like Kailasa in Slovakia.
Belgium.
Kailasa in Luxembourg. And you can see Kailasa in Mauritius, Kailasa in South Africa, Kailasa in Salem, which is established by Supreme Pontiff himself, and Kailasa in Rajapalayam, Kailasa in Hyderabad, Adinam.
Kailasa in Iraq, which is the Yogini Sarvajñapita.
Kailasa in Thiruvanmiyur, Chennai, Kailasa
in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
and Kailasa and Guadalupe.
All the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism created all of these Kailasas to ensure humanity survives, and created the sovereign. And more than 2,500 satsang centers have been created. Padaka mandirs and home temples have been operating as de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa.
So the avatar. So he
In Malaysia, plans of Avatar and executed it successfully, with thousands participating, with the dying Hindu population in Malaysia being reinvigorated.
Yes, you can see for every major festival, devotees from various places do the Pada.
26 years, with 26 plus years of humanitarian service, over 1 billion free organic nutritious meals being distributed with US, Canada, UK, Slovakia, Switzerland, and France.
And you can see world's greatest digital media platforms, over 1 billion views, cloud or the Nithyananda radio.
And 1 billion e-citizens in over 100 countries.
Through Kailasa in holistic health, education, and development of human potential, sharing the practical applications of Hindu, protecting the humanity from the huge cosmic deluge, the pralaya which is going to affect them. But yet he was driven away and chosen out of India itself. So we saw what Devi Parashakti had.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers. We will be entering into the next segment of today's program on the different offerings that we can make to Devi Parashakti. Now, many of you know and are, but also exclusively for us. And he is our personal guide in every single step of the way. Now, whether it is our birthdays, or the different festivals in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the different Jayantis, or the different Brahmotsavams, or our anniversaries, our weddings, or marriage ceremonies, whatever it is in Sanatana. And not only that, in this way, in our lives today, unfortunately, many of us are finding that the divine is not as present as we used to occasion. And we would have been so happy just to interact with the divine, have the darshan of the deities, and offer a few coins in the hundi, and continue personal darshan and diksha, and also make our offerings as we want to. Now, Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is bringing all of these extreme divine gifts of pure love, devotion, and oneness, and it consists of two parts. One is giving, and the second is accepting. Only when the divine accepts what one offers, the offering becomes complete. An offering is not made out of fear nor out of greed.
Agama of Manonmani Dhyanam. Hinduni Bhaveda Karavahni Nayanam Syat Pankaja Varabhaya Japan.
Fire in eyes, with lotus flower gracing, and blessing hands on one hand with the japamala. Beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments and wonderful clothes and shining bright crown. Her name is Manonmani.
Vibhushita Tanum Brahmadi Vibhujitam. Devi Meva Manonmanim Pratidinam Kamarta Datrim Shubham.
And she is worshipped by Brahma and other many gods, and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day.
So let us now understand the significance of the divine element. Amreta ahustatte hiramyam trividastha vise.
In the English translation, triply born by birth is this gold from the atoms of that gold is a divine element. Many of us know and understand its value and its pricelessness and when we're offering gifts. Many of us have given for Mother's Day or marriage anniversaries, even our gold. In fact, it purifies anything that it touches, and it's an element of spiritual significance and great spiritual power of healing and enlightening. The vibration of gold has a
These Itihasas and Puranas. In all Hindu scriptures, it is abundantly displayed that gold is the most auspicious and the purest metal, which purifies, weighing equivalent amounts of commodities like cows. And kingdoms were built with huge doors of gold. Streets would have huge columns, huge archways made of gold, and even the horses and cows were dressed up in gold.
The Hindu civilization thrived on the banks of rivers. Rishis actually understood this extremely potent metal that was gold, and they applied this super science that Paramashiva had gifted on planet Earth in all the different aspects of the whole life and lifestyle in the Hindu civilization. Temples are constructed and paved in gold. Deities are made in gold and decked and adorned.
The offering. So the Shastra Pramana describing Devi Parashakti says, Bhakti Priya, Bhakti Gamya, Bhakti Vashya, Bhayapaha.
Realized through true devotion, she can be won over through true devotion, and she removes all fears. Now, if there is any fear in the minds of devotees, Devi is the one to be sure to remove that. Eventually, more and more our thoughts are turning inwards, and we are questioning inside of us the purpose of our life.
And you can also avail the opportunity through the YouTube super chat and super sticker option, which we will be guiding you in the later part of this segment. The next offering is the Sankalpa chanting. So the Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 12, verse 34, it says,
God is being prayed without any interest in anything, gives the knowledge that leads to salvation, and gives wealth in the materialistic sense. Now, the Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 12, verse, with all the fruition of the desires and wishes that you are yearning for, every single day, having a conscious resolution is how you should start the conscious resolution. You can offer the Sankalpa today.
So the next offering is the Sahasranama Swarna Kasu, the golden coin offering, which is inscribed with the names of Parashakti. So Lalita Sahasranama, verse 731. So you can offer a coin inscribed with each of the 1,008 names and receive the blessings to have all the divine qualities, the Ananta Kalyana
Parashakti are chanted, and all those are the Ananta Kalyana Gunas which you will be bestowed with. The sacred thing is that the science of the chant, the sacred chants, is actually used and implemented.
Shri Pancharatnam, it beautifully describes Muktahara Lasat Kirita Ruchiram Purnendu Vaktra Prabham Shinjannu Purakinkini Manidaram Padma Prabhabasuram Sarvabhishta Falapradam,
shining like the full moon, who wears anklets that are studded with gemstones and has small bells, who is shining like the splendor of a lotus, who grants all the wishes, the daughter of the mountain, and who is worshipped by goddess Vani.
So you can offer the finger ring with the pearl, the Mukta Anguti, to Parashakti and receive her blessings to be showered by her compassion, pure love in all your business endeavors. The Mukta Anguti is available at 251, 501 and 750. Vesa Sutra Vastradya Hema Pankaja Pushitaha Sapidana Sakurchascha Pakwa Bhilva Phala Prabha Napannadhyaya Samsiddha Pramanena Samanvita.
Pushpa, the lotus flower, is referred in so many different places. And in fact, in all the different kinds of worship, or the mudras and asanas, the hand gestures or the body postures that we do during any pose. And that's why lotus is considered as a divine flower. And in fact, Shakti of Paramashiva is also called a lotus. And the base of the Paramashiva, the significance of lotus, as is told in the Hindu tradition is how everywhere in any pond, in any muddy waters, the lotus can bloom, and it can literally being of Devi in your innermost space amidst any and every adverse situation in your life. You can have the blessings to literally radiate Devi at all times, just as the power of the lotus flower.
Saroruha.
The English translation: you whose brightness from toenails destroys the darkness of ignorance from the mind. Bring to Devi, adorning her sacred feet, to be in constant gratitude for receiving her blessings, even in the most difficult parts of your life. Now, Devi Parashakti is adorning. Parashakti can literally liberate you and remove all the ignorance from you. So adorning that ring and offering our gratitude to that the feet that literally liberate us is the most sacred offering that we
who gives the very pleasant experience of the ultimate. So the Mangtika, the hairline jewelry, it represents the nectar that flows from the crown chakra, the Sahasrara chakra, which is completely and fully opened.
And for the very lotus, the Sahasrara chakra, which is fully open, understand, the 1,000-petaled lotus, which is fully open and literally oozing the nectar out, that nectar is represent a remembrance and offering as well to Devi Parashakti. So you can offer this Mangtika to Devi and receive the blessings of achieving the blissful state of overflowing gratitude and the space of complete completion.
Offering Pratyakshapada Puja. So we'll be chanting the Shastra Pramana from the Sloka 83 of Saundarya Lahari.
Defeat the Lord. Now, Shlokam number 83 of the Saundarya Lahari, one of the most beautiful stotrams on Devi Parashakti, states that the nails that have been sharpened by constantly being of Hinduism and have the blessings of literally your ignorance being removed entirely. I strongly encourage each and every one of you who are tuning in with us to surrender all the karmas that you have, everything that you have, and surrender and offer that at the feet of Devi Parashakti and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa, the form of all the gods and goddesses, and the one who all the fruition, the blessings, auspiciousness in your life. During this Guru Purnima time, it's a very auspicious time for us to make this offering and for us to offer the Pratyaksha and Devi Parashakti. So this brings us to a conclusion to all of the different offerings and Nameti and the Swarna Mangtika, and then also the Pratyaksha Pada Puja and Vastra Seva. So all of these, the cost and the availabilities are also written down here. If you'd like to go ahead and you're ready to make your payment, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi Bhavasapati to make these offerings today. And you really want to, yet maybe the resources or the money or the time is not yet finalized intention form. This intention form will help you in manifesting. You'll get more details, and if you're interested in offering, you'll be able to have the further details for all of the different offerings, and donations are here listed out. And you can just select from the drop-down menu any of the, and then you will be filling out your billing details and all of your details as well, your payment details. Make sure that you submit this form. Then after you are filling out the payment, you can go to Sankalpa 2021. We ensure that all the Pujacharyas, the Shivacharyas from the Nithyananda Paramashiva Devalaya are chanting and making sure that your name is chanted during the puja, and the benefits are all bestowed on you. So also here we have a member, and you can right next to the channel name underneath this video, you'll see the join button. Once you have joined, a credit card or debit card or PayPal, and you can make any kind of donation. This is what you can offer as the e-hundi, as a small donation as well. So these are all the different options and the beautiful ways that you can literally manifest into reality as a immediate and instant result is just through these offerings. You will be able to see in so many different ways how you are manifesting, and literally your have for all the viewers today is the United Nations has also recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And after so many racist people out there, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been continuously working in order to bring the Holocaust and the ongoing genocide against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to the whole world. And today, as we are going on into the next segments, we'll be understanding the details and seeing how the United Nations has recognized the persecution, and seeing more into the international audience by literally showing the whole world the truth. He is bringing an end to that Holocaust which is going on. In the next segments, we will be seeing on the grounds and taking care of the Kailasa COVID care centers in India. One of the most astounding contributions of the Supreme Pontiff, safest places for people to stay and live during this extremely tense time in the whole Pralaya. So we'll now be joined in just a few minutes by Ma Nithyananda Swami and Ma Nitya Pranapriyananda to explain to us in detail about the art.
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa. Any revolution, but by evolution community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanyapit, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. Mo rakshati rakshitaha. When you protect dharma, dharma protects you. You will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We are
Nithyanandam, and welcome to today's segment of the Adi Kailasa ship. Today is an extremely significant day in the history of Kailasa. The United Nations has recognized the persecution, ethnocide, genocide, specifically femicide of the Kailasa women's community, the women followers of the Supreme Pontiff of done an entire study on femicide. Femicide specifically means the killing of women, specifically related to their gender, meaning just because a woman is a woman, killing the woman. And a very in-depth study, the extreme inhuman crime of femicide, which is the killing of women, published, is giving a glimpse of the whole persecution that the women community of Kailasa has gone through. We wanted to share this with you at the outset of this segment, and we'll be going into the just affecting Kailasa or the followers of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, or even the 2 billion Hindus at large today. It is actually a victory, a resounding victory, and an awareness that has been brought to the hilt Hinduism from the face of this planet. On the one hand, peace enable a massively powerful way of living our super consciousness, our real existence, and how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has enabled that, continuing to enable that, and sharing with the whole world the real gems of Hinduism, what Hinduism had to offer, a brief look at the Hindu Holocaust and today's situation where the Supreme Pontiff, the interest of making each and every being realize that each of us is really Paramashiva. So let's take a jump into the next segment. Of the world's only Hindu nation. Let us take a look at the big picture first. Kailasa and its vision and mission. Kailasa is the only kailasa.org, the 2 billion Hindus and the whole of humanity. Kailasa creates a safe haven to live, practice, express, and radiate the peaceful lifestyle of extraordinary powers as per Hinduism, regardless of race, gender, caste, or creed, and protect Sanatana Hindu Dharma and share it with the entire world, but also to share the story of persecution that is yet unknown to the world by dispossessed Hindus from around the world who lost the right to practice Hinduism authentically in their own countries. Though the Kailasa movement is founded in the United States and spearheaded by members of the Hindu Adi Shaivite minority community, culture free from denigration, interference, and violence. The vision of Kailasa is enlightened living for all of humanity, which is rooted in the fundamental principle of, and now a glimpse about what really is Hinduism. Hinduism represents the world's most ancient yet progressive indigenous spiritual tradition. It is an open framework or model of civilization that stands for non-violence, vegetarianism, worship of nature, the Hindu Holocaust, on the other hand, is the story of the persecution of Hinduism. The Hindu Holocaust is a stark epitome of a campaign of race extermination through a systematic, egregious, and ongoing. The Hindu Holocaust is one of the biggest crimes against humanity in world history. Hindus have time and again suffered religious persecution in the form of the systematic elimination of Hindus was done as Hinduism was once practiced freely in over 56 nations across the continent from Afghanistan, India, Nepal, Burma, Sri Lanka. Upheaval, colonialism, and religious persecution systematically ended millennia of Hindu Swarajya or self-rule. Today, Hindu temples remain in few countries, but the Hindus who worshipped in them have been continue to go so in the future unless cognized first and corrected thereafter. The denial of the Holocaust through distortion of history and ideological indoctrination is the last act of crime in the Holocaust and the heralding of the next crime. The strategy is to first obfuscate and even speaks of the unbroken continuum of annihilation of the Hindus. 100 million killed, over 1 billion ideologically enslaved, be it by the invading Mughals or the cannibal perpetrator rapes, forced indoctrination, artificial famines, child abuse, identity distortion, resulting in a systematic physical elimination of over 100 million Hindus, political, economical, social, and much more.
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not all-powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshak whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
Nithyananda. The next segment is we're going to see how unprecedented persecution over millennia, the untold story of Hindu Holocaust. So broadly, we can place these Hindu Holocaust into three phases. The first phase is by the Islamic conquest of India is probably the bloodiest story in history. The Islamic historians and scholars have recorded with great glee and pride the slaughters of Hindus, forced conversions, abduction of Hindu women and children to sword during this period. Million more were raped and murdered and dismembered. Overall, 200 million Hindus were slaughtered, classes captive, flogged with thongs of rawhide, carried a moving prison with them, and converted the prisoners into obsequious Turks. Jurisprudence, still in use today as a legal manual, it very clearly says that if the infidels, which means the non-believers of Islam, upon receiving the call to convert to Islam, neither consent to it or agree to pay taxes, and it is necessary to implore his aid upon every occasion. The Prophet moreover commands us to do so. So the law, you have every right to destroy the infidel as per the legal manual of the Islamic law. Having done so, Muslims must then, with God's assistance, attack the infidels with all the manner of warlike engines, and must do set fire to their means are therefore all sanctified by the law. So the law itself sanctifies all the horrendous acts of disarming a person, weakening a person, and forcing that person to convert into Khilji by his qazi or a legal advisor, who says that Hindus are like mud. If silver is demanded from them, they must agree with great humility to offer gold. If a Mohammedan decides to accept Islam, they should be imprisoned, tortured, and finally put to death, and their properties must be confiscated. To keep the Hindus in abasement is especially a religious duty, because they are the most invertebrate to physically destroy the backbone of this Sanatana Hindu Dharma. The rape of a continent. Mohammedan Sultan Feroze on this occasion broke the idols of Nagarakuta and mixing the fragments with pieces of cow's flesh, filled bags with them and caused them to be tied around the necks of Brahmins, who were then paraded through the camp. It is said also that he sent the image of Naushaba to Mecca to be thrown on the road that it might the prisoners were impaled. Afterwards, their wives were killed and tied by their hair to these pails. Little children were massacred on the bosoms of their mothers and their corpses left there. The will Turan, the same celebrated historian who made a comment on the Islamic movement in India, he also told her in all recorded history. You can see the pictures of people, Indians especially and Hindus especially, who were force-starved in the artificially created famine by the British. 5 million Hindus were dead due to famines and poverty imposed by British policy and repressive killings for 1850. Looting and destruction reduced it to a poster child of a third world poverty. It was a mere cover for the racial oppression and economic exploitation. Do you not see then, by following these studies, you are walking in the very path through which England colonial subjugation, 200 years of intense racial hatred towards Hindus. Hindus are full of dissimulation and falsehood, the universal concomitants of oppression universe than what is being presented in the writings of the Hindus. Very few words are required, especially regarding Islam, because the superiority of the Mohammedans in respect to religion is beyond all dispute. In truth, the Catholic Church performs 250 years of ethnic cleansing in Goa. The fathers of the church forbade the Hindus under terrible penalties the use of their own sacred books and prevented them from and were liable to imprisonment, torture, and death if they worshipped after their own fashion the gods of their fathers. Again, divide and rule was an old Roman maxim, and it shall be ours, wrote Lord Elphinstone, a systematic policy of fomenting separatize and demoralize the indigenous people of India so they would become slaves in their own homelands. The discriminatory laws to instill feelings of racial inferiority engineered famines to starve natives into submission, and it banned Indians from owning or producing the firearms. Now let us look into how did they harsh British tax and export policies in poor infrastructure management caused multiple famines in India, claiming tens of millions of lives. Most recently in Bengal, 1943. Indians were British invaders destroyed the local industry to ensure dependence and poverty. Prior to colonial rule, India was the world's leading textile manufacturer, textiles from being sold in foreign markets. Within a generation, the Hindu weavers were turned into beggars and their indigenous skills were lost forever. They destroyed the local industry, started designing and building their own models at a fraction of the cost of the imported British trains. The British Parliament responded by passing an act in 1912 banning all the local manufacturers of trains to ensure India's economic dependence on their colonial masters. Lands were resumed by the East India Company and the allowances were granted in their place. Now let us contemplate the result of this plan. From one end of the country to other, the pagodas were ruined and unmaintained. The revenues of Tripati or false anti-Hindu narratives. British rulers perpetuated the narrative that Indians were generally illiterate and education was restricted to high caste Hindus, but their own rate. We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions whom we govern, a class of persons, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste and opinion in moral. Despite their best efforts to adopt the English language, clothing and mannerisms, the anglicized brown British native clerks of India were often viewed with contempt and ridiculed as Rajas into proper British gentlemen. Concern the native Hindu Rajas into proper British gentlemen. Concerned at the rising awareness of nationalism after the Indian Mutiny of 1857, the British realized that to strengthen their hold in India, they being just a handful in blood and color, but English in opinions, in morals, and in intellect, that became the cornerstone of their strategy. Idea of civilized living. Their idea of civilized living, it is not even the idea of civilized living. They targeted populations such as sadhus, sannyasis, tribals, nomads, gypsies, and sudras, and given tattoos to stigmatize them and make them easier to track. Criminalizing the indigenous communities, which is Thugis and Dacoity Suppression Acts, in an effort to demonize the Hindus and feed the stereotype of savage Oriental British that it was something which is very wrong with India. In addition to denigrating the Hindu culture, the narrative of the Thuggi menace was also used to justify the colonial rule, suspend the civil liberties, and target subversive elements of all the major Hindu temples despite claiming to be the secular state. Their governance of Hindu temples had been fraught with mismanagement, neglect, corruption, theft of jewels and deities, and alienation of the temple land. Many temples activism, the Sabarimala temple dedicated to Lord Ayyappa in Kerala, where the South India represents one of the Hinduism's unique spiritual ecosystems. The form of Ayyappa worshipped as the Sabarimala in nine are equally allowed access, while the Sabarimala is a single exception. Ayyappa devotees undergo 41 period of celibacy, fasting, and other penances prior to making the pilgrimage to prepare their bodies. This is the temple which has been visited over 50 million devotees a year, and it is one of the world's largest pilgrimage sites that is exceeded only by Mecca. Given its prominence, the Sabarimala temple has been targeted by the anti-Hindu social activists for years. As Chief Minister of Travancore Cochin, Keshavan, he says that if a Hindu temple is destroyed, that much superstition is being destroyed. So you can see openly it is a statement made by somebody in the government that is so anti-Hindu, like so. Next is the media narratives used to stereotype and demoralize the Hindus. The use of propaganda against the enemy supported by such military, the communication media most commonly used in psychological warfare are the same as those that is being used in civilian life, radio, newspaper, motion pictures, etc. The secular India in which the media narratives used to stereotype. You can see here how India today denigrates the Hindu sari while praising the Muslim hijab. The glaring double standard only makes sense in a Hindu population that is demoralized, delegitimized, and without a sense of identity except to pathetically aid the West. This is a textbook case of internalized racism. What is the result? The result is Indians spend billions of money annually on fair. So far, we have seen how the great Hindu civilization went through three different phases of Hindu Holocaust, where the new Hindutva groups and the anti-Hindu forces openly challenge anybody who practices Hinduism. So, as revealed by Paramashiva in Vedas and Agamas, and as revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, because of the amount of hard work and the amount of artists, the United Nations have now recognized the persecution that has been done on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and his community for the second time. In the next segment, we're going to see how he has compassionately opened the de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa to one and all to protect themselves from this ongoing pandemic. So before we go to the next segment, let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, where is Kailasa. All powerful cognition.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. All of us are ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
Welcome back. And now, that recognition being made by none other than the United Nations in India, women and children in India is quite abysmal, as one has seen from various reports. Despite tremendous public outcry against crimes against women and children, such as rape, of India has been either unwilling or unable to curtail these crimes. India is right now being labeled as the most dangerous country for sexual violence against women, according to the Thomson Reuters Foundation 2018 survey. That's a very concerning statistic for a nation which is, for Bharat, which is known to be proud for the position that it has always given women. According to the national crime, a number of years now have been weaponized against minority women and children, especially by extremist militant elements at the highest levels of governance. This weaponization of sexual violence targeting women and children is part of a more pervasive and systematic campaign targeting certain indigenous spiritual traditions, targeted for extermination by the neo-Hindutva extremist militants, is the Hindu Adi-Shaiva minority tradition in India. The extremist militants are the ones who take on the garb of Hinduism, but actually they are comes to the rights of women, including otherwise marginalized Dalit women, the rights of the members of the LGBTQ+ and transgender community. Neo-Hindutva extremists see LGBTQ+ rights as immoral. The ASMT freely ordains women into sannyas, recognizes 11 genders, and performs specific.
In the last decade, especially in India, there has been an alarming trend in the mainstream media and the social media of sensational screening and manufacture of misinformation and hate speech that is marginalizing minority communities, especially, and to delegitimize her guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. The new Hindutva and the media published fake interviews of the ASMT actress Ranjita for defaming her. Nakir and Gopal and other media heads pressurized Ranjita to commit suicide and circulated false ASMT female monks, but the most vulnerable target of this persecution are the ASMT girls and the female children. As imprisonment, this did not damage the remedy. The child rapist filed several vexatious litigations in India and US. In US, these false allegations by the child rapist, such as ran 14,000 hours of hateful programs marginalizing the ASMT child rape victim, ASMT actress Ranjita, ASMT nuns, ASMT women and girls. The media publicly denounced. Several media houses continue to publish such defamatory articles, causing marginalization of the ASMT community, especially women and the girls, dangerously inciting mob violence and massive influence on the masses and even the court judges. The media is easily able to sway public opinion and even sway the opinion of the judges. Sadly, there is no massive influence on the masses and even the court judges. The media is easily able to sway the public opinion and even sway the opinion of the judges. In a court proceedings directly involving the ASMT, the court explicitly mentioned how the court was prone to prejudice by this negative media propaganda. Though the media can influence the judiciary in India, the court judge the ASMT actress, Hindutva media kept pushing the implementation of the order of various quasi-legal institutions. Finally, the media's self-regulatory quasi-legal body, the NBSA, ordered its member channels to remove the fabricated defamatory videos from their websites. None of the media houses complied with a website listing their policies to self-regulate these malpractices. Commission has maintained silence on the subject and pushed the responsibility on the state executives. A politically owned Neo-Hindutva media channel aired a media report which it accused the ASMT leader, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, of raping, unable to protect the ASMT women, especially the nuns and the children who are subject to this media persecution. The Indian media kept marginalizing, targeting the ASMT community. This is the largest penalty against any Indian media. This did not remedy the damage as the other media channels and journalists continued the smear spread and was followed by a series of sexual assaults on the Hindu ASMT nuns by state police, aesthetic militants of the state and the Neo-Hindutva terrorists. On 7th of June 2012, Bengaluru, Neo-Hindutva militants attacked on the Karnataka's State Department of Women and Children, forcibly, cruelly, and illegally interrogated children in the ASMT school, which is Gurukul. The interrogation was done without the consent of the parents, with nobody to eat unhealthy substances avoided by as per the lifestyle of the ASMT community. The lawyer of the school was sued by the On 28th of October 2015, an ASMT female monk was molested and escaped an attempted rape by a Neo-Hindutva militant. Videos depicting Nithyananda and the ASMT children were uploaded on social media by unknown groups. In November 2019, the Gujarat State Government CWC Child Welfare Commission officials righted the Instead, a false case was charged against the women Hindu heads, and they were kept under the custody for almost 3 months. The only women monastery and the female spiritual leaders. Vexatious litigations have been used to persecute female Hindu spiritual leaders on absurd allegations of indecent dressing, booking in under anti-superstitious law. So what we have seen today is essentially the glorious contributions from the Sanatana Hindu Dharma to the entire humanity, and the deadly Hindu Holocaust that happened in 3 different phases, and several contributions of the Supreme. The report has been published and acknowledged by the United Nations, and the voice of the Hindus is being heard for this Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya from Vidadi, Bangalore. So stay tuned to join us for the celebrations of
Kailasa. Listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment, is E Kailasa.
Who is participating in this puja to come and settle down.